What up, people? It's your boy, Ian Letter, and we're back again with another Den of Owls exclusive podcast. We're on to episode 2.5 of episode 2. Got a little bit more information that we want to give out to y'all. So, again, this is Ian Letter, and we're joined by my man, TJ.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
And we have a special guest in the house, our boy, Ian.
What up?
All right, so... TJ, you want to lead us off on the topics we're going to be discussing today?
Topics of today. Business 101, because I know a lot of you guys wanted to start your own little business. I'll give you like a few pointers because I've been through it. So I'm trying to give you guys a little cheat code or cheat sheet to how to get a business running and going without any failure at the beginning. We're going to talk about music and social media. Because all of us here, we're about that music life, from R&B to old school boom bap to dancehall / soca. So we're gonna give you guys a little intake of how we see the music culture. Social media, you know, the thirst traps out there, and you know what I'm saying, like the false advertisements. We're gonna talk about that. The two main issues I have with this podcast, and I may go on a rant about it at the end, has roles switched between females and males.
Okay.
The second one, when is it time to let go? That one, I may have to do a little rant at the end.
Yo, perfectly fine, man. Perfectly fine.
All right.
All right, so why don't we go on to the first topic today? We were gonna go on have roles reversed, but let's first talk about business 101 because I think, like how you said, a lot of people from our last podcast, we're gonna go and talk about, you know, aspects of business and how to start up a business and how to get it going, but you know, ran over time, so we didn't have a lot of time on that. So TJ, you want to just give a little, you know, from your insights, seeing that you have multiple businesses going on right now?
Yes. To start a business, it's not that hard. We're in a day and age where everything's at our fingertips. You could just go on an app, make an app, boom. You go on YouTube, make a channel, boom. There's a lot of ways to make revenue just sitting at home. I think a lot of people have doubts because they don't think it's that easy, but it is that easy. Also, people have doubts that it may not pop, or I'm doing everything that everybody else is doing. Just remix it a little bit. Like, let's say you want to make scented candles. Make it like out of like a Marvel guy or something, you know, like a Thanos glove scented candle. Be creative. Be out the box. That being said, a lot of people are scared because of the naysayers, or you're not gonna make any money out of this, you're just gonna waste your time. Forget them. At the end of the day, you know what you want to do. The naysayers are just mad because you're gonna beat them to the punch. Always write down a business plan from point A to point B. You may have a point C here and there, but always have a backup plan and a backup plan. Because not a lot of stuff, you know, goes the way you want it. So you got to have an exit route just in case, or another way to move around to get to point B. For example, for me, for my catering, I only get a lot of business during the spring and summertime. So the winter comes, I make like homemade hot chocolates and this and third, do these little desserts here and there, just to make stuff come in. If you just sit on your ass just doing one source of revenue, you're going to be screwed. That's why I encourage people to make their own products. I don't just do catering events. I make my own hot sauces. I make my own barbecue sauces. I make my own condiments and my own rum punch. So you always have to have one source of revenue, but have different streams of revenue coming in from that one source. You can never be sitting into one place, especially in this era where, like I said, everything is at your fingertips. Okay. Fourth thing and last thing, social media. You need to have an Instagram, or you need to have a Facebook, or even a YouTube just to promote yourself. Instagram's a perfect way because millions can see your stuff, and you could go from there. Also, you need to get a business license. You have to get a business license just to ship stuff overseas or import stuff into your own business. If you don't have a business license, a lot of venues or a lot of people, they won't buy from you. So make sure you do research before you start your business. That is the main key.
So within the business license aspect, is that more so like, you know, how they said like getting a domain name for your name, like making sure you have your name set up, or like actually, like how much does it usually cost to get a business license if you're going to do that?
Business license range from $100 to $600. It's pretty simple, pretty cheap. You just put your business name out there. They give you, if you're from Ontario, they give you an Ontario license. Boom, you're good. Now you can start going to venues. You can start going to trade shows. You can even start putting people on your GST and HST for tax times. It's all this, like I said, is to cover your ass when it comes to tax time. Or if you have staff, you could claim them. A lot of people don't know that. You could claim them. And the receipts that you do when you buy stuff, keep them. Because once again, you could claim that. That gives you more money at the end of the night or at the end of the year to do more things with your business.
So that's like also with aspects of like if you have your own car. Or
100%.
Like you like buying gas and whatnot.
Car,
all related expenses.
even if you go to McDonald's or whatever, you can say it was a business dinner.
Right.
True.
Your cell phone, everything. Put it towards your business to claim it at the end of the year. It's kind of a cheat code, but it's a good cheat code to save you money.
So it's basically like for anybody, it's a good idea to like start up your own business in any regards because it'll help you out at the end of the day for like your taxes or whatever you're trying to do.
500%. Doing your own business. It helps you. It motivates you. Like it makes you want to learn new skills, new traits. It makes you be more independent. You don't have to deal with the 9-to-5ers or being dug out at your job. Like if you're really passionate about it, you could leave your 9-to-5 and make your revenue off your own, like your home stuff. Like it's doable.
What about for the people that are just starting out that have like no capital, no money? Like how do they take that initial push? How do they need to get investors or like
the investors part? It depends on what you're trying to do.
Right.
If you're trying to do like small stuff, like I said earlier, making like beauty products or whatever, you can do it at home. That's in your spare time. Let's say 3 to 5 hours a day. You make your little hair oils and stuff. You go to little markets.
Build up.
Yeah, you know, you do it like your guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
Like I seen people, they like tag certain walls on the road, or they they sticker bomb subway cars or TTC, and people say like, yo, what is that? And they scan it. It's like, yeah, I do this, or I DJ and all that stuff. It's always that like your first step is always scary, but that second step is well worth it. As for investments goes, if you're trying to get like a spot, I totally agree by getting an investor, just in case the money that you put in, you don't really see a good return.
Or if you don't have the money to put in.
Yeah. Exactly. Having an investor, it's like a quarterback. It's a good quarterback, just in case, you know, pass the ball, you're good to go. But that being said, too, if you're going to have an investor, do not try to bite more money than you can handle.
Right.
If your investor's going to give you a milli, and you know you can't handle a milli, don't accept the milli.
Right.
If you know your business is not gonna do that much profit, let's say in 3 to 5 years, scale down. There's nothing wrong with scaling down. There's nothing wrong. Take your time. Like it's not a race. Every business takes time. If you think out the gate or the next 2-3 months, hey, I'm gonna make $500,000 or $1 million. Yeah. You're gonna have a rude awakening.
Yeah, you should be modest about your goals, right?
Yeah, like
you set your goals too high where you can't meet them.
Thank you. You gotta take your time. Like every business, I say, you start seeing revenue after your 4th year.
Yeah, true.
And then, like in any business, after the 4th year, that's when you start really seeing all the hard work blossom. It doesn't blossom the next day or the next year. Maybe for some people are lucky. If you don't have that luck, it's going to take you 3 to 5 plus years. Take your time, learn new stuff, invent new things, put yourself out there. Like, you need to market yourself. Like, don't think because you have an Instagram alone you're good. No, like, you need to go out there face to face, shake people's hands, go bombard people at work, send samples, and go. Like, samples alone, you're going to spend like a good $1,000 just giving out away free gear or free swag. Easily.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that the best way of like marketing yourself isn't just to like put out like information, but it's also like giving people your product. Yeah. Because by somebody getting your product and liking your product, they want more, especially if it's good. Like regardless if it's like what you're saying, like hair oils, or nail polish, or food aspects. Like if you're doing something involving baking and you're giving out free samples of what your baked goods, it gives you it generates that buzz for yourself.
Right.
Yes. And like I said, any publicity or any word of mouth is good promo. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You're gonna have haters. Like, in life, there's haters. People don't like to see other people be on the come up. Especially they know that you could do it. They're extra salty. Extra salty. So be in mind with the haters out there. Just look at them, smile, keep it moving. Do not entertain them, because if you entertain the negative energy, that negative energy is going to reflect on your business.
Yeah, use them as motivation.
Yes.
Yeah. Turn a negative into a positive.
Yes. What else you guys want to know about business 101?
Well, basically, it's just like, what would you suggest if someone were to be just thinking about getting into business? Like, say, for instance, they're going into culinary, just like how you say you have your own cooking business. Like, what is what are the first couple steps that they should take to like start up something in culinary?
First, you're gonna need your food handlers. That is number one. If you don't have your food handlers, you're not gonna get any. Well, I won't say any. Like, you could do family and friends without a food handlers, but if you want to go into venues and like weddings and all that stuff, and even events, you're gonna need your food handlers. That's number one. Two, you're gonna need a smart serve, just in case you want to serve alcohol or handling alcohol. You need to have that. When you have those two fundamentals, if you're gonna do anything that involves food, you're good to go. Second, you're gonna need a spot to prep your food. You can prep it at your crib, but if you want to prep it at your crib and you have little babies around or infants or toddlers and all that stuff, it's not sanitary. If you smoke in the house, same thing. It's not sanitary. If you have pets, that's a big no-no, because the fur and all that stuff could get into your food. Always have a certain spot in your house where you do your food prep, and your food prep only. Nothing comes in and out that place that does not associate with you doing preps for people's houses, because people get sick, cross-contamination, and you could get sued or get blackballed. And you don't want that starting off.
That's one type of negative publicity.
Yeah. You need to, especially with handling food, like, you need to be extra careful. You gotta wash your hands. You gotta make sure your shellfish stuff isn't touching your fruit stuff. You gotta make sure the raw chicken isn't touching raw fish or any other produce out there, because the cross-contamination is real. And you gotta know people's allergies. That's the third thing you gotta realize. If you're doing a catering event, you have to know if there's allergy or dietary needs. It's good to ask that instead of them telling you, because you look more attentive and you look more serious about your business. Because some people, have the new wave of gluten-free allergies, and everyone wants to be vegan and stuff. So you have to cater to them type of people. Like, you got to make sure you're not using butter, you're not using milk, you're not using egg wash if you're putting on pastries and stuff. You gotta realize that stuff. Even honey, because there's some vegans out there that are really strict, and honey is a no as well.
Yeah, it's a product of bees.
Yeah, you gotta start using cane sugars and all that stuff. You gotta do your research. That's number 4. Research. You gotta research the area that you're working in. Let's say you live in the East End. Let's say Scarborough, for example. You gotta know who to cater to in your ends. I'm not being racist or anything. If it's brown people, you gotta know a little brown dishes. Like a butter chicken here, or I forgot the other one's called, or samosas and all that stuff. You gotta know that stuff. Masala, yeah. You gotta know all that stuff. I'm not saying be a whiz at it. Just dabble that stuff into stuff that you already know that you're doing it. Yeah. 5th and final thing, you gotta have a vehicle to transfer. You gotta have a vehicle.
That is this.
You can't be doing cater events out of an Uber or out of the TTC, man.
No.
You gotta have your own personal vehicle, or a friend of a friend that could drive you around places.
Yeah.
To drop off food, even to pick up your stuff after the event. If you don't have a vehicle, it's gonna be hard for you, because those Uber and taxi bills are gonna rack up.
That's true.
And I'll say I'll say one more thing. Number 6, make sure you price out your products properly.
No, that's majorly important.
Because you don't want to get lowballed into anything or be too high. Later on today on our IG page, I'll post up my formula sheet for you guys, so you guys can know how to price out your stuff properly with the right percentage, the right tax brackets, and all that stuff, just to give you a little idea on how to price your stuff properly for people from downtown to even, let's say, Blue Mountain. You know what I'm saying? So I'll give you guys a little tips and tricks later on today on our IG page.
What about menu creation? That leads right into that, right?
Yes.
And then you want to create your menu where it's it's
affordable.
relatively affordable.
Yes.
Yeah, or something that you have good margins on, and you can make lots of money on, right?
That being said, that's why, when it comes to making a menu, you gotta know what you're gonna make. You gotta be comfortable of making what you're gonna make for your audience. Let's say, for example, you're gonna make, or someone asks for margarita pizza, and you never made pizza before in your life. You better go learn, or you better have somebody that can make the pizza for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't sell stuff that you cannot make.
Yeah.
If you could buy it third party, that's great.
Yeah.
But be honest about it. Be upfront about it.
Or you just say, "Oh, it's part of my catering team."
Yes.
Yeah. Bring someone in.
Or that
someone else eat.
Or that too. Also, if you guys have friends in it and they're serious about your craft and whatever, don't be afraid to put them on. If they support you, they could be a good support in your business. You don't have to be selfish and be like a one-man team or one-woman team. Friends are here for support. If your friend really wants to support you and is down to support you, let them. If you could sense that they're just here just to bandwagon, be cautious. Just look how they act, look how they move, look how they associate with you and others about your business. So you could see what's really going on and not really see what's going on, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Extends into life too.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for for business.
So you would say the aspect you should, if you're gonna be doing something where you're gonna be dealing with food or anything that you're gonna be doing, the best thing to do is practice your craft.
Yes.
Practice what you're doing. Don't just jump in and I can do this.
Yeah.
But then when you have to do a mass production, you have no idea how to make.
And you have no space.
Yeah. Because how you're saying about costing out and having a relative idea. Because at least if you know your ingredient list, and then you can market your ingredient list and say, okay, I can take, this is a 1 batch, this is how to make a 10 batch.
Yeah.
So once you have that costed out for a 10 batch, it's easy for you to say, okay, I gotta make 20 or 30.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Also, I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm like the person that does not do this in his regular day. Write down your recipes.
So true.
I know you could memorize it in your head, and that's great and all. But there's going to be a time where you need to step back from your business and let your staff run your business. So write it down so they can learn how to make the food the way that you make it. I know it's kind of hard because you know when to stop with the seasonings and, let's say, the liquids, like we all know. But some people that coming into your business, they don't know. Yeah. So it's either you guide them through it or you videotape yourself making the food. So you can take notes after and write it down and give them to them. Because I know writing down on the spot, you're like, no, I think it's 5. Mm-hmm. No, shit, it's 8 liters. See, you know, like, yeah. You know, just record yourself making the food or making whatever product it is. Yeah. And then teach it out to people that are willing to be taught.
And that should make it easier if you need to make a tweak later on too. Then you can just like look at your thing and, you know, figure out like, oh, I need a sweet, like something different for a sweet here. So I need to take out this and put in this, right? Like,
yeah, because it's the number one. That's the hardest. Like what you're saying is like what, especially the hardest thing for like for black folk.
Yeah, Jamaicans.
We never write down anything. It's like when like for Jamaicans, whenever we're cooking something, like I even asked my brother asked my mom one time, yo, how do you make dumplings? Mom say, yo, pinch of this and a dash of that. Yeah. And my brother's looking at it like, yo, I can't work with those measurements. Like, what does a pinch mean? So yeah, like what you're saying, it makes complete sense. Because even for me, like I don't do that. Like I make cheesecakes and I make fucking dumplings in my house, and I just make it. Like I don't know measurements. I don't know. It's like it's one.
Because you know when to stop.
Yeah, I know for myself how it's supposed to feel, or how it's supposed to work. But it's like, yeah, if I was to like actually tell my brother, I'd be like, all right, 1 cup,
right?
2 tablespoons.
And it doesn't come out the same.
Yeah, it's not. It's never gonna come out the same. No. It's never gonna have the same feel. But I can tell you that you can do that. But who knows?
100%, man. But yeah, that's a little insight about Business 101. Like I said, I'll be posting stuff on the IG page later on tonight, so you can get a little insight, a little cheat code on how to run your business successfully and don't have failure like I did in the beginning.
Are you gonna post some resources for people to find like how to write a business plan or how to do?
100%. If you want to go to the bank and all that stuff, I'll definitely try to write you guys a little blueprint on how to do it. Just change it up a bit with your stuff, and then you should be good to go.
Yeah. And again, like I said, if you have any questions or anything you want to know, you can always leave it down in the comments down below, and we'll be more than willing to like talk about it on our next podcast, so you can get more insight in that regards. So, going on to our first hot topic of the day. Have the roles changed? Have the roles changed between males and females? Ian, want to bring you in on this. So
you better put me last.
We want to get a different viewpoint on this. So how do you feel? Like, do you feel that the roles or the dynamic has switched between males and females?
I think it's definitely changing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's changed completely. I think that some of the traditional roles are still there in place in some parts of society, but I think for the most part it is changing. Maybe not fully switched, but definitely different than the traditional male-female gender role type situation. Now it's like, I don't know, like men are, I don't know, restricted a lot of the times from being a certain way.
Yep.
Or they're encouraged to be a certain way, right?
100%.
I'm not saying that it's bad or good. I'm not making a judgment either way, but I'm just saying that it's a fact. And yeah, I mean, women have definitely have more freedom now, like, than they did 50, 100 years ago, right? I think some of the change is definitely good, because I think that, I think we should be moving towards more equality, in the long term, right?
Of course.
So I mean, we have to expect some pushback to our traditional gender roles, right? We have to expect that, because like we've had it a certain way for so long, right? So it's gonna be tough, but I mean, we just have to find the right balance.
Well, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's just, I feel with some of the switches in the gender roles, it's it's perfectly adequate. I feel that, like I come from a household with just my mom, right? So there are certain roles that my mom has taken on, being the provider, being, the one that takes care of the family and whatnot.
Right.
And, I had that going on from when I was like 10, 11 years old. My mom had to take care of me and my brother during all that time. But then you have the aspects of like, as a man, you still want to be able to have someone that can like be that male figure in your life to like teach you how to be a man. And I'm sorry, I find it really, for when a woman tries to teach a man how to be a man in a relationship, she's giving it from her perspective.
Yeah, it's flawed.
Right? She's giving it from her perspective. And I'm not saying she's flawed or she's wrong for giving it from her perspective, but you're gonna eventually make a man into a effeminate man,
or
a builder,
or their ideal
man.
type of man.
Yeah.
And I think that thinking is flawed. That you can create an ideal man.
You can't.
You know what
you
I
can't. The guy's gonna be who he is, and then he's gonna grow up to become the man that he sees that he should be. At the end of the day, and like with the role changes in the households, like you do have women that are out in the workforce and men that are like stay-at-home dads that are taking care of the family and taking care of the household. Which I say, whatever makes the most sense for your house, for your family, do what you got to do. Like,
exactly.
Who am I